Brand new season, brand new dawn for
Box.
and it's lights out and away we go.
Simply lovely. I was really enjoying that last hit.
Welcome back to Box, where I am playing catch up on all of the episodes that I missed because I was either sick or traveling. And this week we are recapping the Spanish Grand Prix. So let's just get into it, shall we? Red Bull. It was a mixed weekend for the Bulls. Sergio's bad luck from Monaco seems to have followed him, and he's in Spain without the S, after failing to make Q3 for the second week in a row, only managing to qualify P11, while Max secured his fourth pole position of the season. Two very different days. Perez did, however, manage to have a decent recovery drive, making up 7 positions and finishing 4th, narrowly missing out on the final podium position. Max, well, he's Max, and there was never really any doubt that he'd convert to his pole to a win, was there? Because once in open air, it is so difficult for any other driver or car to come close to it. I mean, even if Checo, by some miracle, had qualified P2, would he really have caught him? I don't think so. Mercedes. Once again, a team with a mixed qualifying performance. Lewis outqualified George with a P5, while George couldn't get out of Q2 and managed a P12. But come Sunday afternoon, none of that really matters, does it? Especially when they come out and bag a double podium. Lewis seemed happy enough with the car this weekend, making up 3 positions for a P2 finish, while George also managed an incredible recovery drive, surpassing that of Checo's, making up 9 places to secure that final spot on the podium. So things are looking up in the Mercedes garage, it seems. And I mean, George's recovery drive is significant. I'd say is more impressive than Checo's, given that Checo only managed to make up 7 and George made up 9, and claimed a podium. So I feel like that's progress. He got more out of the car. He managed to be faster than a Red Bull, overtake a Red Bull. So, love it. Ferrari. Honestly, I'm just going to say that this was the weekend of mixed qualifying performances. Carlos, he seemed to come alive in his home race this weekend, putting the car on the front row next to Max and starting in P2. Charles, on the other hand, well, he failed to get out of Q1, only managing P19, with the collective cries of the Tifosi and Leclerc fans heard globally. He blamed the car, Fred blamed him. It was a mess, and the PR department's worst nightmare. Things kind of evened out, though, on Sunday, between the pair, with Carlos losing 3 places to come home and finish in P5, while Charles made up 8 places and finished in P11, missing out on the points. But fun fact, this is the only race that he's finished outside of the points in this season so far. Like, actually finished the race. Not DNF'd. Every other time he's taken the checkered flag, he has scored points. So I feel like that's a fun fact. The strategy in Spain was absolutely not it, though. The strategy department should all be made redundant because their drivers are essentially doing their jobs for them, while also driving. A petition to fire the strategy department and give the money they save on paying them to the drivers to come up with their own ideas. I will sign that petition. On to Aston Martin. Lance seemed to have bounced back from his last couple of quality performances that were a little average. Once again, making it through to Q3 and even managing to outqualify Fernando with a P6 start. Fernando did keep his streak of Q3 appearances alive in his home race with a P9, making him the only driver this season to make it to Q3 in every qualifying thus far. So props to him. Sunday also proved to be decent for the team in green, with both drivers finishing in the points. Fernando made up 2 places in front of the home crowd to finish in P7, while Lance maintained his P6. Overall, I would say that this is probably one of the best performances for the team. Both drivers doing the absolute most for the team. They know they aren't going to beat Max for the Drivers' Championship. And it's nice. I'd even go so far refreshing to see 2 people working together on track to benefit the team, knowing full well that the more points they get and have at the end of the season, the more money that they will receive to develop the car, and they'll be in a better position come 2024 and even 2025. None of this ego shit like you see in other teams, where there's infighting and superiority contests and, oh, let me through, let me pass. None of that. They're not battling each other on track for position, risking damage or an accident or wearing out their tyres. They're 100% for the team. And it was probably the best display of teamwork that I have seen in the sport. Just, I'm not going to attack. Let's maintain position and bring home the points. And I think a lot of teams can learn from that, because ultimately, at the end of the day, neither's really in contention for a World Drivers' Championship. But the higher they get, they may get less wind tunnel time, but they will get more money to develop the car. It's about future-proofing, and that is clearly on the minds of Aston Martin. On to McLaren. What a quali for the boys in Papaya, who are clearly trying to capitalise and maintain their performances from Monaco. Landini coming through with his best quali performance of the season with a P3, and OP equaling his best quali for P10. Things did not, however, go to plan on race day for said boys in Papaya, with neither driver actually managing to score any points, despite both starting in the top 10 and in the points positions, which is just, a kick in the gut to the team, who really just desperately, at this point, needed the points. Land lost 14 positions to finish in P17, and OP lost 3, finishing in P13. Overall, I'd say it was a massive lost opportunity for the team. They had so much potential and so much promise, but they were ultimately not able to capitalize on the opportunity, which is disappointing. They, moving forward, need to remedy that. They need to look at it, they need to learn from it, and then they need to put it in their rearview mirror. They need to take the lessons from this weekend, learn from them, and then out of sight, out of mind. They don't fester on it, don't dwell on it. Take the lessons that are taught and move on. Alpine. They have backed up their qualifying performances from Monaco, both making it through to Q3 and flipping their positions this time, with Gasly starting in P4 and Ocon in P7. But no matter how good you are on a Saturday, points are not handed out till Sunday. And similarly to the Papaya boys, these guys went backwards. The only difference being, these guys still managed to score some points. Gasly conceded 6 positions to come home in P10, rounding out the final points position, while Ocon conceded 1 place to finish in P8. I mean, these guys know they're meant to make up positions, not lose them, right? You're meant to finish higher on the grid than when you started. Or is that, are they trying for a reverse grid sort of thing here? I don't know. But McLaren and Alpine, you've got to go forward. You can't go backwards. Haas. Hulk managed his best qualifying performance to date this weekend, making it through to Q3 and qualifying P8. So, good job to him. K-Mag's performance wasn't nearly as good though, failing to get out of Q1 and only managing a P17 start, setting the duo up for 2 very different races, in theory. In reality, both drivers went backwards to varying extents, because apparently we're not meant to go forward, we're all going backwards. Starting off with a slight slide in performance with K-Mag, who lost a single position to come home and finish in P18, while Hulk lost 7 places for a P15 finish, and ultimately reiterating that the Haas has an okay 1-lap pace, but god-awful race pace. They can get the absolute most out of it to get into a decent qualifying position, but they can't do anything with it. They go through their tyres way too quickly. They heat them up and they cook them. And that is something that they really, really need to work on. Otherwise, for the rest of 2023 and into 2024, they are in for a rough ride. Figuratively and literally. If they can't fix the car, they can't really make up much ground. Williams. Yeah, look, it wasn't great. Neither driver making it out of Q1, Albano yet again outqualifying Logan in P18 and P20 respectively. But hey, they can only go up, right? Turns out, no, only Alex can go up. But hey, at least there's a driver that made up places. He didn't go backwards. He made up 2 places to finish in P16. Logan sadly didn't make it off the bottom of the grid with the final classification of P20. But hey, he didn't go backwards. Granted, he couldn't go backwards, but he didn't. Progress was slightly made in the form of Alex. But overall, it was not an ideal weekend for the team. A few accidents to be had. Fingers crossed it improves moving forward. Alfa Romeo. See, there's no R in that. Yet another mediocre performance from the duo. Honestly. Valtteri Bottas again failed to get out of Q1, starting the race in P16. Zhou, on the other hand, managed to get to Q2 and secure a P13. Couldn't get any further though. Ultimately, it wasn't great, but hey, it's better than others. Zhou managed to carry the team this weekend, making up 4 places to finish the Grand Prix in P9 with some points, so props to him. Valtteri, on the other hand, apparently was in the same group chat where everyone decided to go backwards. Thought it was a reverse grid situation. The lower you finish, the more points you get. And he went backwards to finish in P19. So yeah, make of that what you will. Alpha Tauri. This weekend was, in my humble opinion, an improvement for the Red Bull Junior team. Both drivers making it through to Q2, with Nick out-qualifying Yuki for the first time this season with a P14 and P15 respectively. Yuki made up some ground on Sunday, eclipsing his teammate to finish in P12, while Nick didn't make any moves whatsoever, but at least he didn't go backwards and he maintained his P14 position. Ideally, this is probably not what the team would be hoping for at this point in the season. I think they'd be hoping to be a little bit more competitive, making up some more moves, getting some more points. After all, points are what they do this for, as points mean money. And we know that Red Bull love their money. So, yeah. Thank you for watching. This has been my Spain recap, my Spain review. And I will catch you in the next one. Make sure to like, subscribe, all the very fun things. And I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.